Hey, Kenny.
Hey, Joe.
Start I guess with the comeback. You know, you're down 7. Bam's going off. How'd you guys turn the tide and get back in it?
Some big shots. With Max hit, was it 2? He hit 2 big ones, and then Don. I thought Don had a huge 3. You know, and we finished the game with 6 straight stops. You know, I think our defense was okay. You know, decent, but when it was, crunch time winning, everybody talks about the offense, but getting those stops at the end and rebounding was huge.
I know you just left the heat of the battle there, but you're the first team in. You're 52-10. You're one of 2 teams in NBA history to have 2 winning streaks of 12 games. Or maybe
I
three
love when you
winning
tell me
streaks.
stats like
I think
that.
it's 3.
I love it because
How did you guys get here?
I don't know. I mean, we got we've talked about it, Joe. We got great talent, great continuity, and great togetherness. I mean, you take those 3 things, and it seems like everything's kind of gone our way, right? This year, it's funny. Like, so is there some luck? Sure, there's luck when you do this. There's got to be luck because it's so hard to win in the NBA, and we've stayed healthy. We've played game. Tyler Hero's out tonight. Like we have had some fortune. Let's be honest. So all those things in a tumbler, and that's the kind of season we're having. But it's special. Like this is really special. We know what we're going to be judged on, but we have to enjoy this. We have to enjoy this a season like this.
Coach, we talked about it before the game, but Spo made things a lot more difficult than we may have thought coming into tonight's game, especially with how many players they had out. What specifically stood out to you and what he adjusted with?
Their zone, obviously. It's my coach in college used to say, zone is a talent equalizer. So zone makes you hesitate a little, if you're not, and then you start missing shots. Probably knew we're in three games in 4 nights, and it's a brilliant tactical move. I mean, he's done it for a long time in the NBA, and they play great. Like I got to really tip my hat. They're shorthanded, typical Heat stuff. Shorthanded, toughness, resiliency, guys playing over their head. Bam, going off. But it's not like we didn't expect it. It wasn't like, oh, yeah, this is the Heat. We're better than them. But, like, we have a better record. We knew it was going to be a fight. Sure enough, it was. But it was, good to win a tight game against this team.
And obviously, a lot of people are going to talk about the scoring aspect of it, but when you are going down against a team that's playing a little bit sporadic, has the zone, and then you have to find different ways to find your offense, Darius had 6 of his 10 assists in the fourth quarter. How stabilizing was he for you guys tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's such a talented passer. Again, zone is a little bit different. You're 99% of the time in the NBA, you're facing man sets. I thought the play he made, the assist he made to DeAndre in the pocket, DeAndre, we ran our flat play. He got in the pocket and rolled, and DG just put it right in there in a tight space, and then DeAndre hit the little floater. I thought that was, the threes were huge, but that was the assist of the game, play of the game for me.
Yeah. What can it do for a team when you are, as you mentioned, 3rd game in 4 nights, down by 7 in the fourth quarter, having to sort of maybe dig a little bit deeper to find a way to get a win at this point in the season?
We're not a cocky team, but we kind of know, like we're getting to the point where we show zero kind of trepidation, or we don't really rush for the most part, and we get to what we want to get to. We get to our set, or we get put ourselves in good position. And we have obviously defensive chops, right, with the talent we have. But and that goes to our leaders, right? Like I think Don and DG and Evan, they just have their that's that continuity I was talking about. They know each other. They know where we want to get it, and it's rare we come out and say, oh man, oh, that was, what kind of execution was that? Or we're taking crazy shots. We stay pretty composed most of the time.
How difficult is it against the zone that they play to sort of funnel the ball where you want it to go in terms of getting shots to the guys that you want to take shots?
That's part of the zone, the beauty of the zone. It you have to find the holes, and sometimes the holes are with your role players. And we got DeAndre at that high post a lot, and they were kind of willing to live. Sometimes you say, hey, I'd rather have that than a Donovan 3 or a DG pick and roll. So it's just good strategy. We do it too. We've done it a lot. We've probably won a bunch of games this way doing that, especially in a game where you're not favored. I think it's really smart strategy.
You just mentioned DeAndre against the zone, but what is it about him particularly that you like being in the high post against that 2-3?
He's so big, and he's got that beautiful mid-range, right? and then he's big enough to, make a pass. I think he hit 2 or 3 mid-range, and then they started coming up on him, and he threw the lob to Evans. So you need a good decision maker there, and then we got, DG and Don on the wings. So if they do collapse, we can throw it there. So he really he was huge tonight against the zone.
When you look at the last 4 games, going back to the Boston game, you guys trailed, came back, and all forward. You could say, in the big picture, maybe not playing the best basketball this season right now, but
agree with that.
You're still in the midst of a 12-game win streak.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that you're in I don't want to call it a slump, because that's not the right word, but not playing your best, and hasn't affected any of the outcomes of these games yet.
Yeah. I think that's our depth, right? Because I do feel like, you can judge how you want, but I think we have some guys with some, that are dipping a little, right? They've been, phenomenal, off the charts, 10 out of 10. Now you move to an 8 out of 10. There's been a little dip in some performances from our top guys, but I think our the DeAndre Hunters, the Sams, the Ty Jeromes, they that's part of the story, right? And why we've been able to keep the streak going.
Yeah.
You guys have talked so much about lessons that you've learned, liking to take the lessons from a win rather than a loss. So in these games that are so back and forth, is there still things that you're learning about this team? And what are those things that maybe you've been taking away in these recent ones?
Yeah, tonight's a great example, right? A little subtlety, right? The zone, right? Like we talked about the zone a lot, and now you're thinking, holy, we could play Indiana. Rick Carlisle has been known to play zone. Spo obviously plays zone. So we take that feedback. We have film for it. We're going to talk about it, watch the clips, and it's a chance for you to get better. And then the next part of that, it's figuring out the strategy stuff, but also the end of game. We probably got 3-4 clips there. Duncan Robinson was open on that last play, and I can't wait to go see the film. He stepped out of bounds, but that shouldn't have happened. If we had perfect defensive execution. We haven't had a super high amount of close games, so this helps us. This will help us for the playoffs.
These milestones are hitting, clinching the playoffs, particularly now. Is that something you guys talk about as a team, looking forward to progressing and maybe that 1 seed? Is that conversation?
No, we don't talk about it. I think someone whispered, oh yeah, we qualified. I think Ty said we made the playoffs, but there's no hey, let's give ourselves a hand or anything. None of that. And even the first seed, haven't really talked about it.
I know you feel like you've had some dips there, but one area you've not dipped is in the fourth quarter. I think you're now 45-0 when either tied or leading going into that final quarter. What has made you guys so good in crunch time this season?
Listen, it always comes down to player performance. I think DG's one of the best in the league. Don's obviously can do it. And I don't know, is this part of it? We get to the fourth quarter fairly fresh, right? We don't run guys. Could that? I'm guessing here because we never know what it really is. Continuity definitely, like I said before to Dan. I think just these guys we know what we want at the end of the game. They called me off I called a play at the end of the game, and Don's like, no, let's run elbow. It's like they've run that before. I know they've run it before. It was a great call by him. You know, we didn't get to it because they went zone on it, but that's the type of kind of confidence they have in each other. They kind of know what they want, and that's huge because some teams are, where are we going on this play? What you know? And Don's willing to say it's not just me. It's not high pick and roll. Let Donovan Mitchell go. It's not that. It's how can we find the best shot. So that's our leadership too.
And since DeAndre's gotten here, do you feel like now you've found that and we've asked you a lot about like starters, but do you feel like you found the closing combination now that you want?
I think it's going to change. Because we really debated keeping J.A. and because they had Kyle Anderson and Bam out there, and man, we could really protect her. You know, Kyle's not a shooter, so we, you know, but we're down. You know, usually when you're down, we said, oh man, they got 4 guards out there, and we decided to go small, and it's a real debate. I don't think you can say that we've decided it's gonna change game to game depending on how the game's going, who's out there.
Jim.
Kenny, on that point, you've known Jarrett for a long time. You know how much of a competitor he is. How hard is it to keep him off the floor in fourth quarters when you know how badly he wants to be?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but he understands. And, you know, he's so smart. You know, they got 4 guards running out there, and that's, you know, he knows it's probably not the ideal matchup, but these are the sacrifices we talk. Like if we want to get to the next level, you know, and I thought Isaac was great in the first. You know, Isaac could easily said, man, you could add Isaac in there instead of Dre, and you wouldn't have been. You would have been right. You probably would have been right. All right. So these are the choices. He understands it. He's always. That's what makes this team special. You know, doesn't complain. Next game, he'll be ready to go.
How much does it help to have that rapport with him? How much does that help you in those moments?
Yeah, I think we have good eye contact, great relationship. I can talk to him about anything. It's huge. Yeah, I think if I was a new coach, you know, it would probably be like, oh man, he doesn't trust. You know, you could go down that road. He knows what I think of him and how great a player I think he is. So no issues there.
Last one, Ed. There were a lot of emotions heading into this matchup. You had said you guys didn't really notice that you would play off berth, but obviously Kevin Love, celebrations and things like that on the other side of things, and just welcoming him back. You know, there's just a lot of emotions heading into this game because it's Miami and also they're playing you guys tough. How do you think your team responded just to kind of the high intensity moments?
First, I thought it was great. You know, I mean, the crowd ovation for Kevin Love. That gives you like goosebumps to me at least. And I wasn't a part of it. I wasn't here. You know, the Cavs have the I don't know, top 3. You know, crowd reputation in the league, whether they're winning or losing. Always incredible, but that was really, really neat. And then Richard Jefferson too. I thought that was really cool, and it just wasn't like clap. It was like, man, we appreciate you. So that was great. That added to the emotion. And again, 3 games in 4 nights. So I think it probably helped us, right? I felt like, you know, we did have the energy at the end and kind of fed off the crowd a little bit because we were, you know, not at our typical level. I think to me these are kind of like playoff atmosphere, like really, but we keep our cool. We're emotionally stable, and that helps us close these games.
And what did you make of Max's defense on Bam?
Oh man, that was part of. I was in the 6 stops. You know, that was huge. And then he, you know, down the other end, he hits those 2 big threes. I'm not sure Max knows what time what's on the clock, right? He's just, you think he's like at the Y, you know, like he just lines them up and lets them go. And you need guys like that, you know, Wild Thing. You need guys that are gonna make a play on the other end, and he did both of those things.